Ohio gozaimasu. Welcome, everybody. Irashaimase. Welcome back to the anime podcast that doesn't take place in the morning, but it is morning in Japan. So that's how we get away with it. My name is John. And yeah, it's been a while since we've had one of these. It feels like quite a long while, actually. Work has gotten in the way and such, and finding the right shows to watch with everybody, that sort of thing. So, but we're back. Got some new shows coming out that we're going to be discussing. Today's agenda is focused on Kaiju number 8. The anime is currently airing, so we're going to be discussing that. All the episodes that are currently available on Crunchyroll, episodes 1 through 7. So that'll be our primary focus. Otherwise, if you're here live on anything, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, X, we're on all those things. We'd appreciate a like, share, follow, hit the thumbs up button, all that sort of thing. That would be great. And yeah, without further ado, I will get in our first guest here. Phil, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you, John?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Doesn't feel like it's been quite a while here.
It does feel like it's been a while. Yep. I was just telling my wife. It's been several weeks. I feel like a couple weeks.
It's tough to. I mean, not only to like coordinate schedules, but also just to get shows that everybody is interested in or whatever. So there's like, and it's one of those tricky things too. Like, there's a couple other anime shows out there that I've listened to sometimes, but if you cover a wide range of anime and you want to watch some of them, you don't want to hear the spoilers about all these different shows. So
for sure, yeah. Makes sense. So it's hard for us a group to be on unless we specifically make a point, like we did with Demon Slayer last year.
Yeah,
and that comes with its own difficulties, just getting all in and stuff.
So what do you think of the new setup here? It's not like
I like it
fully complete, but
no, it's good. I don't like it as much though as your beard. It's looking very sharp.
Oh, thanks.
I'm digging it. You haven't had a beard in ages. Looks good.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Yeah. Seems like I always end up growing them in the summer.
Interesting.
Seems illogical.
Well,
yeah.
How much warmth do they really give? I guess if you have a real thick.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed after you shave it all off, like, oh, it's cool. It feels cool for a bit. Just like getting a haircut, you know. It's like it's a little cooler. Yeah. But yeah, thanks. There was something about a beard I was gonna say before. Like, there was a meme that someone shared about. Oh, yeah, it was like a wife asking her husband, God, what are you going to shave all that off? You know, that's so annoying or disgusting or something. And then he does, and then she immediately regrets it. Like, oh my God, who are you?
Yeah.
You know, put it back. Sort of
it does really change your face. I remember when I was like, I don't know, 10, my dad, you know, was back in the late 80s, early 90s. And so this would have been the the mid 90s, but he always had just like a, 90s dad mustache. He shaved it one day, and we were just like, "Whoa, who are you? Our minds are blown."
I feel like I change my look and stuff enough that no one can get too comfortable that way. You know, they're like, "Oh wow, you know what the heck? It's so."
Yep, for sure, agreed.
I don't know. I've had less and less wild hair these days and stuff like that. So maybe I'll as an old man, I'll settle into my ways.
Maybe
that'll be it.
I kind of recently decided, and I don't know if I decided forever, but I had been keeping my hair quite long, and then I was just like getting kind of weary of having it long, and it's also like I don't think I'm balding, but it's thin, and so I'm like I'm just gonna get I'm just gonna lean into it and so actually this is like a couple weeks grown out. I got like a very very short like faded buzz cut a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
So I was just like, I'm just going to try it out and see. I actually really like it. It's it's not like low maintenance, it's like no maintenance. You literally have to do nothing to it. It's quite nice, actually. It's very liberating. But,
nice.
So we'll see. All right. I think I might just keep this for a while. Just keep it real short.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Easy.
rocking our looks. Everybody, feel free to chime in the comments.
Obviously, people are going to be very, complimentary of us.
Yeah.
I was speaking of your setup. I was just realizing, just specific to me, my lamp seems very bright. Right? Is that blinding your viewers? Might be.
I mean, they're right behind you on the shelf. That's like overpowering of you.
I could throw something out over it, maybe. Just give me a second.
Okay. All right.
It's just I'll still be here. I'm just gonna turn my camera off, so it's not like awkward.
So I want to we'll go over first what we've been watching right before we jump into Kaiju number 8, and we are hoping that Andrea can make it. She's had some car troubles, so we'll see if that actually does happen or not.
Right.
But so I've been slowly crawling through Freerun yet. Sadly, it's been quite a while since I've watched any new episodes, but
that's sad.
Yeah, it is, because it's really good. My time has just been pulled elsewhere, so I do mean to get back rolling that faster or soon. Demon Slayer, I've only watched the first episode of the new season.
Okay.
I'm hoping we can do, I think the first episode, honestly, of talking Demon Slayer, you'll probably be gone. It'd be my guess.
But I think so.
But if we take it in like 5-episode chunks or something, there'll still be plenty of episodes, to talk about.
I think there's only going to be like 12 episodes this season, right? So, sorry.
Maybe it's a little shorter one. Yeah. It's really going to be interesting to see how Demon Slayer all goes here, considering the kind of expedited nature of how the rest of the series was written. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I read there was a recent episode that was literally adapted only like a page and a half of the manga for the whole episode, and then the rest was added. So it means they're going down that kind of route. Like,
oh wow, maybe they can really stretch it out then.
Yeah, I hope they are careful with that.
Well, that too, yeah. I mean, but I mean, yeah, I think this is supposed to be a pretty short little arc in the books, in the manga, so I can't imagine it's going to be a super long season, but
yeah, maybe not.
And yeah, I mean, I guess some of that's nice, but then if you could push it too far, where you have like this, no one wants like a lengthy filler season arc,
Yeah, well,
just for the sake of having an extra episode. I'd rather have it be 12 good ones versus 24 so-so ones.
Yeah, and just that for the fact of not being written by the same person, then someone else, some other team or whatever is
right
adding all this stuff. So
sure, right? It's like Rings of Power all over again.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually like Rings of Power, but I know.
I still invite you on here. Like, it's amazing.
I know. I don't know what's wrong with you. Why would you do those things? I'm aware though that it's largely taken from very scant source material, and really fleshed out. Now, the Tolkien estate could have given them the rights to Silmarillion and some of those other works, which would have been helpful, but they didn't want to. So
I guarantee all they do is take the extra things they can now write about and just make them worse. Like they wrote hobbits in there. They just can't call them hobbits.
Yeah.
So they're still hobbits to them. Like that's what they're just not naming them hobbits.
Yeah, but they're like hobbit. But they're like, it's cool because they're like hobbit precursors. They're like the ancestors of hobbits. They're not even called hobbits. There's like, how you got the hobbits, the Shire folk, and you have the river folk, which is what Smeagol was. And then there's like one other classification of hobbit. But this is like the culture and the being of people that predated all those three. This is what all those three different types of hobbits split from. I forget what they're called in the Rings of Power, but
sounds like Harfoots.
Yeah, the Harfoots. Great, thank you. Well, you're on it.
I think you should do a YouTube channel. It's like the gymnastics of making Rings of Power seem good, or make sense.
I would do that. I would do that.
Yeah,
but I know. But just to clarify, you didn't watch it.
Correct. Yes, I could watch a lot of shows. There's one thing. Yeah,
I'm
you
not
can
judging.
obviously
I'm just making
no,
sure
yeah,
I understand correctly.
right. A person can only take my criticism on a lot of things only so far because I probably haven't seen it. Now I
Sure.
could see it and then have more credibility, but then you get accused of just watching stuff that you hate and just
Sure.
complaining about it all. It's
Yeah.
like I'm just choosing to not
Oh
watch
yeah.
the things I know I won't like. It's like
That's
that's
fair.
why I'm out of Star Wars. I'm just done.
Yeah,
Because
I
otherwise
get
I'm just
that.
gonna hate watch all this stuff.
No. Yeah.
And
No, I
it's,
get that. I get that. I can't. I think it's too much, right? Like my problem with like Star Wars and Marvel currently is that there's too much coming out all at once, and it's just like if if Star Wars did one big series every 2 years, I probably would watch it. Or if Marvel did like one big series every 2 years, but then it just became oversaturated. Or at least with the Lord of the Rings, it's like the Rings of Power. They aren't doing like all these Lord of the Rings, Hobbit offshoot series, all being done by Amazon, like Disney's doing with Star Wars and Marvel. Like I wouldn't like that either. I guess I'm not saying that's exactly the same apples to
yeah.
apples, but at least there's not an oversaturation.
I think that you can make the argument to part of the reason that people have fallen out of favor of Marvel stuff is too much of it. But I think
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be less of a conversation if it was all amazing. If it was all like,
True.
wow. I mean, it'd be like, well, this is a lot. I maybe can't see it all.
Yeah.
But are you then like checked out because you can't see it all, or you can't see it all right away if everything you do see is great? But I think that argument can't be made for Star Wars. We haven't seen a movie for Star Wars and I don't know how long it's been. We get
True.
I don't know, we've had like a
TV
season
shows,
a year or something like that.
It's been just that. Fair enough. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest. I like Star Wars, but I'm not like it's not on the same level as like I get they're different sci-fi versus fantasy, but it's not on the same level for me as like fandom for like Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
So I'll watch anything that comes out about Lord of the Rings. Dan and I love Lord of the Rings. We love the movies. I mean, I like the Hobbit movies, but I love the old Lord of the Rings cartoon movies, like the original Rankin Bass 1970 whatever version of The Hobbit. Have you seen this, John?
No. Oh. It's on my list.
It's good. Oh my god, it's just like a childhood nostalgic favorite. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's excellent. Anyway, so I'll watch anything. But so I'm sure that's true for some people with Star Wars, but that's not how I feel about Star Wars. I like it, fine, but I'm not going to watch.
There seems like there's two paths though of like, so you love everything Lord of the Rings
mostly.
If you have two fans and they both love everything Lord of the Rings. One fan might be like, well, that makes me particularly, selective in what I appreciate of it because I have a vision, I have a whatever this is. And so therefore, like, this doesn't meet my standards. And then because it's like, I can't just have the name slapped on it and then I like it. It has to be the thing still.
Sure.
And then there's other people like, well, it's something of the thing. It does have the name on it. It uses the characters' names and stuff like that. And so therefore, like, it's entertaining enough. So
I think I fall more. I mean, this is a spectrum. I'm probably closer to the person that likes it if it's part of the genre. Like I'm not a person who's overly critical of the things that are done about it. If that makes sense, But I'm the same way for stuff I'm not like passionate about. Like I really like the first episode 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars. I quite enjoy them, especially episode 3. I love episode 3. Ewan McGregor, the volcano planet, and he cut his legs off. Oh, so sad. When Anakin turns to the dark side, it breaks your heart. It's really well done. And like, I mean,
you're my brother, Anakin.
I know. Yeah. I mean, okay, Ewan McGregor carries a lot of that, the emotional part of the scenes, as is Natalie Portman, but
I think Hayden does.
Christensen or whatever his name is there. He's there. So, no,
all right. Well, speaking of someone else that's here.
Oh, all right.
Andrea, how's it going?
Hey.
Good. How are you guys?
Good. We're just
deep in a
being a little
nerd argument.
I've been following. Yes.
Okay. Well, Andrea, you got your car stuff sorted?
Yes. My battery has been replaced. Ooh, for adulting.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
I once had my battery die when I was working at the Mall of America yet. And at the time, there happened to be a Sears in the Mall of America yet. And so I walked to the other side of the mall and bought a battery and walked back with the battery. And I got the tools for it and stuff because I didn't have it in my car at the time, and then swapped it out in the parking lot. So that was
nice.
Impressive. At least if you're looking for silver linings, Andrea, which not everyone realizes always, but at least it's May and not January. Oh,
someone looks really wet.
Yeah.
Was it bath time?
Yes, somebody just had a bath.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
I'm next.
Adorable. Oh,
all right.
It's my turn.
Keep those suds going.
It's my turn to have the hot water. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, John. So just to encapsulate my entire point is, I more like whatever is out there, and if it's something I enjoy, I like what's in that genre generally. Not overly critical of it. And Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power is, I think, worth watching. Like, I think if you just watch it for just an enjoyable show in the Lord of the Rings universe, and just like really.
Someday, if we just like had time, we'd sit down and watch together, and I will just rip it to pieces as we watch it, like a live, you know.
Sure, that'd be great. That sounds great. I'm not saying there's not things to critique, but
we can do a whole trio because I feel like Phil would be on the I like it side, John is on the I hate it side, and I'm in the middle because there are like a plethora of things that I do actually like about that show. And there's like one overarching thing that if they hadn't done, I would fully like the show. But because they did it, it makes me very, very angry and I hate it.
Okay. I don't remember what that even is, but sure. That sounds good.
They changed Galadriel's story, and I don't see the point. Like, it's like a huge deviation, and I don't enjoy that. Like, if it's already there, Hollywood, why change it? You know what I mean? So like make up a new character, make a new thing. If you wanted to do that storyline, use somebody else. That's my argument. Like,
that's almost never the route taken. Like,
I have so many guest stars.
What do you a door in your office or what? Jeez.
I do, but Chris, like, shut her in here.
Great. Well, nice. I would love to be a guest on your guys' other podcast and review the whole season 1 this summer.
Oh, that would require you to watch season 1, John.
So that we could determine whether we wanted to do episode by episode reviews on your podcast for the upcoming season, which comes out in like
I've already determined
September or something like that.
It's all right. The determination has been made.
It seems like a great idea. Just gonna say, you guys can jump on for a podcast live, and I'm like, no, it has to be all of us because you're the one that hasn't seen it, and we can't have all hype. We need some of the nay. This is what was terrible.
I saw a fight sequence, from that show. Yeah, I'm just like, what is this joke that they're displaying for me? Like, especially when you go from
which fight sequence?
Galadriel's like accosted by, I don't know, like 6 people in like a market or something like that. Yeah. I can't remember. I just remember really liking the show. I just think it's like fun.
How can you watch the trilogy and then turn on an episode of Rings of Power and think it holds any candle?
I'm not saying it does.
Yeah. Well,
I still like it. I don't think the Hobbit movies hold a candle either, and I like those.
So much money on these shows. They should be good.
Again, an example of something that could have been good, and you didn't need to like change an overarching storyline because it made it bad.
I don't disagree. I'm not saying there aren't things to critique.
Didn't even need to be there.
I'm not saying there aren't things to critique. I'm just saying it doesn't mean it's not worth watching at all.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying you're saying that. That John's saying that. Now, I know
These
you're not
are
saying
my
that.
critiques.
You watched it.
Like I
fine.
like them.
But you actually
I
watched
watched
it.
them. Yes. But that doesn't mean I won't be like, hey, you should have made this better.
That's fine. Sure. I agree. I critique things I like, and
The sort of best
yeah.
I can do on some of this stuff now is like, I can watch other people tear it down or whatever. It's a bit cathartic for me, you know, and then it's short. But the time I would take for me to actually push aside all the things I want to see and read and do, again, in order to hate watch something,
I
it's just like, what am I doing with my life? Like,
I'm not
what am I doing at that point?
I'm not saying you should hate watch it. I'm saying you should give it a shot.
Yeah, you're saying I should watch it, and then
but not to hate watch it. I'm not trying to punish you, and I know your time is limited. I'm saying you should try it and keep your mind just open, that you could just watch, just like the parts you like and just let go of the parts you don't like.
Because the negative thing, if negative things over, you know, there's a scale, and if the negative things are tipping, you know, it's like there's a lot of things I put up with in shows. It's like, oh, that's, you know, it's fine. It's like was not great, but overall didn't destroy my enjoyment.
That's good. I go off. I'm more of a vibes guy. You know me. I'm just like, we just like enjoyed the episodes we watched, and we wanted to watch more episodes. And that's my gut check for. I wasn't getting like sleepy. I found it all engaging, interesting, and most of the time, there's no like slow parts. I'm not saying it was like the best made, best shot show ever, the best acted show. We just enjoyed it. It was just fun. And
House of the Dragon is coming out just before that. I'll watch that. I'll enjoy that.
Okay, that's fine. I don't watch that, but that's cool. I'm not saying you should watch it. Like, I'm not telling.
Kind of saying I should watch it.
I mean, I am. I'm just saying, like, if. I mean, you can do what you want.
Well, of course, yes.
And I think you would like it.
No, I
don't think. I think we can agree to disagree. That's okay too.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff that's recommended to me that I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to watch that. So. I get it.
What, you know, brings power? It's not out. It's not anime. The anime Lord of the Rings thing is coming, but have either of you been watching any other anime before we jump into the kaiju stuff? Because I know, Phil, I know you've been reading more recently, you said. Does that leave any time for any other anime?
A little, yeah. I've watched the first episode of the new season of Demon Slayer, which I thought was good, but was like goodish and fine. Didn't blow my socks off, but. And then I fell asleep during the second episode, so that doesn't.
Ooh.
That doesn't bode well.
No, it was late, you know, but still, it was not super engaging. Anyway, so.
Sure.
You know, so we'll see. I'm sure it'll get better, and as the season goes on. I'm not watching a ton else, honestly. Kaiju number 8, and then not super lately, but I'm still kind of plugging away on Food Wars, so just something to put on here and there. And then I have several shows that I'm like in the middle of, but I just haven't like watched probably since we've had the last podcast. So nothing important to speak of, I don't think.
That's right. Andrea, how about you? Managed any anime? Well, you're getting ready for a trip and all that sort of thing, but
yeah. No, unfortunately. I barely managed to binge all 7 episodes of Kaiju number 8. I got a new phone, so I realized that I had to like re-sign into all of my accounts, and that meant remembering my Crunchyroll password. And so
it's brutal.
Yeah, I did that. I did that like this weekend because I was like, boy, I do not remember that. So I got signed in and just like crammed all 7 in. So I felt accomplished enough getting that done.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Sure. So
okay, well, that makes it all quick. I want to go over this one story because I've had it on the show notes for this for a long time. I just want to bring it up because I am excited for it. Excited by this. Let's see, share this window. Okay, so I want us on the side like this. So, courtesy of Niche Gamer, new U.S. manga publisher to focus on titles for adults. which I am super pumped about because we are getting tons of stuff. Normally, it's all the shonen variety. That's a lot of what we get. And, we've had more and more stuff now. I see light novels showing up in bookstores more. But it can be tough sometimes when you want to venture out into other genres and you don't read Japanese. And fortunately now there is a new wing of this place called Abrams Comic Arts. And they, I guess it says here, is traditionally published graphic novels about the history of comics. But they're opening a new branch here called Kana. And they're starting with these 6 different titles that are, I think, coming probably this fall or something. And I'm pumped. I want to keep an eye on them. It says among the series, we're looking forward to Leviathan series where space salvagers come across a derelict ship.
Space Punch sounds cool.
Yeah. And then they're also doing French comics too. So the French have had a lot of acclaim amongst comic book fans for making some really great stuff. And shockingly, a lot of it has not been translated to English and published over here. So we're gonna get a little more of that from these guys too.
Like historically, for the last several decades, or recently?
No, for some good amount of time. I have a big graphic novel. One of the few that's around is called Meta Barons. That's supposed to be great. I haven't read it yet, but the art's fantastic. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I just read the rest of the synopsis for Leviathan, and it's definitely like Lord of the Flies in space.
Sure. Okay.
Isn't that all space stories, basically?
It's literally though. They find the diary of a young boy, tells the story of the ship and how it broke down, leaving a class trip stranded with dwindling oxygen supply. Quickly, the bonds of scholastic camaraderie break down.
That sounds like Lord of the Flies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is the diary from Piggy like?
Yeah.
What serves as a conch shell in space? Is it the space helmet? Like, I don't know.
Maybe
a little asteroid-looking thing.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I was just reading the rest of it. I was like, "Yep, that's Lord of the Flies in space."
I'm all on board for that.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
So this will be like I don't know. So this will be like Webtoon where you can read it right on the app.
No. So the imprint is expected to emulate Japanese manga publishing, including the physical format, complete with dust jackets.
Ooh.
Quote, we want to publish stories that resonate with us, classic works that deserve an English translation, and art that inspires us.
Interesting.
It said, currently manga in the West is dominated by series marketed for teens and young adults, but even the manga for adults tends to be fan service heavy, harem, or isekai, and labeled mature by virtue of its gore or lewdness. Not that there's anything wrong with that, as opposed to darker themes. And so, yeah, I'm more of this, please. And I think it only makes sense because, again, audiences are growing up with this. When we went to the con, just how markedly the age average had gone up since Andrea and I had last been there. Sure. And, if you risk losing people as they age, if you can't provide the sort of content they're looking for.
True.
So,
yeah, good point.
Okay. So finally covered that. Everybody look forward to those things. Kaiju number 8.
Yeah.
Have either of you had any exposure to this before it became an anime?
No.
Mm-mm. Negative.
I'm not.
I had seen it
just like ads, like previews, but nothing like no manga or anything.
Yeah. Nothing I ever saw from it drew me in, I guess. It was never enough to, it's a one that's popular enough. I've seen it in Target and stuff.
Yeah.
They sell in there. So I knew it was one of the big ones, but I'm not really a kaiju or monster kind of guy.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Phil, like okay, my camera's going wacky.
You're
the
stuck
other
in
day too.
1962. Nope.
It's real fun. It's real fun.
I think Andrea needs a new like camera cable or something.
I think maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I probably need to check my setup just to like make sure what it's doing. But I will fix that. But I'm going to ask you, I also was like inundated with trailers for Kaiju number 8. What did you think this series was going to be about? Like based on the trailers.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
like, did you have a sense of what it was going to be?
I think this. I mean, I saw trailers where this like bug kaiju like went in his mouth, and then he became a kaiju, and then this is kind of what I expected, frankly. Like some kind of like Joe Schmo who can't quite make it onto the police force gets relegated to the assistant junior squad, cleaning up kaiju. And
so those ads kind of marketed this.
That's what I kind of thought it was going to be like, I guess. What did you, Andrea?
No, I mean, I thought it was going to be more of like a traditional like Kaiju Godzilla story. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know if that's like by virtue of the fact that I hadn't like seen full trailers, or maybe what and just caught like them. So I'm just not sure if like that was the case or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just curious if like you felt like you caught the storyline from the trailer, because I know I didn't.
I mean, I think so. I mean, I think this is generally what I thought it was going to be like. But
sure,
I'm kind of with. I was pretty excited for it though. Like I'd been watching all the trailer. I had seen all the available trailers and all the available like clips and stuff, and read about, but without reading through like spoilers from the manga, I read about like what people thought it would kind of be about and what it'd be like. So I was more hyped about it. So I think I had a better idea, maybe.
Okay.
Sure.
Interesting. I'm kind of with you, Andrea. I really, I wasn't super looking forward to it, for any reason other than, people said I knew it was popular. And I think I watched the one trailer and had no idea really what was going to happen. So yeah, it's been all a surprise to me. When something says Kaiju number 8, I think it more like two giant monsters fighting each other sort of thing.
Sure.
And so didn't get any of that. And yeah. Well, Andrea, being such a surprise to you, or is it like, are you happy with what you ended up seeing, or?
Yeah, I do like it a lot. It's been interesting. And not at all what I expected, in like a very good way, in a very like fun, see some plot lines of like other. Hi, I'm back.
Hey.
I can see some plot lines of other stories, like very like weak hero persevering, becoming strong.
Yeah.
Some by some unexpected circumstance. In this, it's like very different, and like the nature of the circumstance makes for a lot of great humor and great heart. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that it's not what I thought it was, because I just thought like, boy, if I'm just gonna be watching like a random Godzilla story,
yeah,
whatever.
Agreed. Has anybody else felt personally attacked by this show?
Like because the main character is 30 and he's an old man.
Oh yeah.
Constantly.
I don't feel attacked. I strongly just identify with this guy. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like yeah.
I'm like, who you calling old man? Damn it!
I know, right?
Yeah, no.
I did enjoy when he was like, I'm gonna get my revenge on you all when your metabolism slows at 28, suckers. Like, that was great. I was like, yeah, you will.
I'm just like, I'm at the gym with people that are a decade or younger than me all the time.
Well, that's where you're going wrong there.
No, I'm not sitting there like, oh my God, I can't keep up, and no one's calling me old man.
Sure.
Maybe they think it. I don't know, but I'm not calling you old man. And So
if you stay home, you don't even have to compare yourself to them at all. That's perfect.
well, and then I don't know how old's everybody else supposed to be in this? Well, it seems like the average of
I think they're like
they're all
in their
like
teens, maybe early 20s.
I would
Like some of
think
them
early
have gone to
20s.
university, some of them
Yeah.
haven't. Like, you know.
Yeah.
I think you'd at least have to be an adult to like volunteer for a police force of sorts.
It's anime though, so maybe not.
Yeah.
Fair. Well,
I think
interesting though. Because go ahead, Andrea.
oh, I was just gonna say the main girl, isn't she like the youngest? She's
Yeah.
only like 18 or something.
Let's say
she's
she's
way
18.
young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yes, Johnny, you mentioned it's anime. Obviously, of course, it's anime, but it feels very much marketed towards a Western audience. Very much like, I think, kind of like American in style, and in like the way the characters behave, and
Interesting.
It ported directly to English. In like, you can watch it right away in English on Crunchyroll. It's like not original in the Japanese. I think it's original in English, and both the opening song and the ending song are in English from known English, or at least bands that are known in America. I think it's just that really leaned into like the Western, Western consumers being more into anime, and I think it feels like they're marketing a show literally directly at like American
us.
Yeah, American people. 14 to 40-year-old Americans.
I hadn't thought of that. I'll be thinking of that as I watch the show more.
It feels like Solo Leveling in that way. Like Solo Leveling, the way it's made feels more with the Western influence audience in mind. Not necessarily that it's like that far that it was made in English first. It just feels like heavily directed to a Western audience.
Sure.
And I think it's some of the stylistic choices, the music choices as well.
Yeah. And maybe it wasn't done in English originally. Maybe it is originally in Japanese, but it's coming to Crunchyroll automatically in English, which maybe they just waited longer until it was all dubbed, but I don't know.
Well, Crunchyroll's been doing for a while simuldubs, and but the varying speed. Sometimes it seems like it's right on. Funimation was doing this too, I think. It's like, but I don't know. I'm sure this has an original Japanese. I haven't looked to see if it's available on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, good question.
It is.
This broadcasting in Japan in Japanese.
I suppose
it's available. It's available on Crunchyroll. I got the option. So
okay. Plus the kaiju is, that's a more popular thing in Japan certainly than it is here.
Oh.
Like just the idea of large city destroying monsters.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I think they're just capitalizing really on like the success that story has had. I mean, like Godzilla -1 was huge. Like, why not? Like, this is like the perfect time to roll something like this out for like a worldwide interest. Yeah.
I think Western audiences do like kaiju type movies, but they see it as like a type of like Japanese movie. So they're like, yeah, it's this cool like movie from Japan. It's about kaiju. So I think it's like interest by association. I don't know, because we like movies and stuff about Japanese culture generally.
Sure. Yeah, well, I'll give you the opening and closing credits for sure. We definitely noticed that. I like the opening. I like both the look of the opening and the song. Less a fan of the closing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to fit super well with the show. I like the song, but it's weird.
It reminds me of like the vibe, but it's like an almost of like the first closing for Jujutsu vibe, but it didn't quite hit the way that does because it's very like sketchy, like and by like sketched art. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like funny, bouncy, like slice of lifey kind of thing. Like the song's a little off; it doesn't match like the tone of the show.
Yeah.
So it's like that. It doesn't quite hit the same way that like JJK did.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's just my interpretation.
Yeah. No, that's a good comparison.
It's Jujutsu Kaisen. I love that closing.
I did too. I loved that, and I think that's what they went for, and they just it just like didn't hit the same. Well.
Sure,
it's not bad. I don't hate it, but it's just not.
It gets stuck in Ashley's head. She's always like the song. She doesn't love the song either, but it's just like always sticks with you. So, what do we think of the? Okay, so Phil's story seems in line with what you've been expecting. Andrew and I were kind of surprised. Like it was different sort of take. You got, which we've had other things like this. A new elite force must come up to stop whatever the new threat is. Promare is this way, Fire Force is this way, whatever.
Solo leveling.
One Punch Man.
Solo leveling, yep. What was that, Phil?
Oh, I said One Punch Man. It's kind of what a lot of.
Oh, okay.
It reminds me pretty strongly of One Punch Man, and at times.
But what do we think then about the different characters we're getting introduced to here? You can tell who's important usually by hairstyles like normal. But like, finding anyone to attach to or that they're interested in, or do we have a good slew of people to follow along in this journey?
Yeah. I've really noticed that I haven't found there to be any like unlikable characters, which is always nice.
Yep.
Sometimes with these ensemble casts like this, you'll have so like on My Hero Academia, the guy who yells all the time. It's been a while since I've seen it now, but
yeah.
He's just like always yelling, and he's always mad, and like has a huge chip on his shoulder. And there's like always the pervy character. I don't know. They just don't really. I mean, they're not leaning as heavy as some of those ensemble tropes, which is nice. That dude right there on the screen, the red hair, he might be the most like annoying, and he's pretty likable. So
yeah,
I just
that I think probably from this last episode too, where he and Reno are having the moment here where he's like, I don't want to be the dude that like quits on my friends. I want to be the guy that I don't want to be jealous of the guy who's better than me. Like there were just cool moments where you're like, yeah, dude, I think you needed that to be not so annoying.
Yeah.
Also, though, Reno is like one of my favorite characters, the white-haired kid here, the newbie that comes on. He and Kafka are just a lot of fun together. Old dude and the newbie, calling him sir.
You're going along with it too, the old dude. Look at this.
I think between them, it's like really cute. Like it's fun because he like calls him old, but he also calls him sir. Like and he just right away is just like when he becomes a kaiju is like, we'll figure this out. I got you, sir. Like you just saved me. I'm not gonna not gonna bust you. So he's a lot of fun. He obviously works very hard. He's making moves to better himself. And I was really nervous that in that I think it's like closing for episode 5 or 6 where Kaiju number 9 transforms into a human. For a half second I thought because his look was like similar to Reno's, and I thought, oh my god, he killed him and now he's like impersonating him, and I was devastated. I was devastated when I thought that was the case for a second, and then I realized, thank goodness, no, they're two separate people.
I don't think they do that this early on, but
well, I mean, they like he,
I would hope not.
I caught him from the back, and he was blonde, and they were calling him New Kid, and and I was just like, oh no,
they probably did that intentionally. I can't remember that.
Yeah, of course, because that would be pretty devastating, and I think that would be a crazy plot twist. But
that would be weird.
I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really worried about let's see your name, Kikoru, the main blonde pigtail. I at first was like, oh my god, you are horrible. You're absolutely horrible.
Oh, sure.
I was ready to hate her.
Sure, yeah. But, she came around real fast.
Yeah. Then she started to, so yeah.
Well, now she knows, and she's one of the. I think she's one of the few people that knows about Kafka, right? So it's like, I think it's just Reno and Chicken Pigtails. So now she's like in on the, and she's going to keep his secret, and she's going to try to protect him too. So that's he's got two people watching out for him. So I actually like that, and she seems pretty cool now. So, and I think
she needed to have the secret to like soften up a little bit. I agree. For sure.
So I'm glad they didn't make it like this ongoing, like, I'm gonna, unmask you and like try to get you in trouble so I can be the best. Or, I mean, he saved her life a couple times now, I think. So I think she obviously is like gonna stick with him.
Yeah. I like the scene in the bathhouse when they find out that he knows the the head woman is like her childhood friends,
Yeah.
And they just
yeah.
They're all just like won't let him go, and they're fainting, and so they're all like laid out now and stuff at the end. And there's that interesting little thing now, like, Kikuro keeps giving they keep giving her, make her blush every time she's complimented by Kafka. Every time he like says, keep going, or you're doing great, or something like that, blush. And then when she finds out that they're all talking about, the captain here, she gets kind of upset about it. So there's kind of starting to develop a little thing there too. Which
a little like,
little crush on the old man, I guess.
Yeah, well, that'll happen. It does though.
But I like that the bonding stuff was good because first it could be this thing like Hunter x Hunter where everybody is out to get each other, like you should be working together towards whatever goal, and instead it's to like cutthroat. I'm ready to take this person down, and so I can get ahead a little bit. And it's more like people dealing with their own insecurities and issues, and like I want to be better and do better and stuff. And so the little bit of building of camaraderie is good, and I don't know, setting that tone. I prefer that. So.
I think it's nice that they contrast like Kikaru and Kafka's styles. Like Kikaru, she like comes into this, tryout very like, I'm just gonna kill all the kaiju and be awesome, and you guys are just gonna be effing amazed at how heroic and skilled I am. And Kafka's like, well, that's not me, so I am gonna focus on building the team, sharing my knowledge. Like, it's so opposite style that like it's nice that we have that and we don't just like have, like you guys were saying, everybody out for themselves and trying to be super awesome. It does feel now like everybody is out to better themselves, but better themselves to be like, this guy's so awesome, I gotta be so awesome. It's not like I just have to be the best. And I think Kafka's like unique skill is like, remember, we all gel as a team. We're all awesome as a team. I don't have to shine the brightest, secretly I am.
He's like the on-field coach.
Yes. Yes, he's very like Ted Lasso in his like, I'm positive. I'm gonna like be here, and I'm gonna point out the weaknesses and the strategy that we should use, and like you guys go do the physical stuff. And then when he becomes a kaiju, it's like not Ted Lasso, but
no, kind of.
He still tries to be so positive and cheery like Ted Lasso. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like then he comes out and he's like, all right, I got the physical skills. It's okay.
Yeah, like, would you guys, would you risk revealing what you are now to these people? Because Kafka's, he's now being threatened to get diced up by like the number 2, basically. That's kind of how we end this. And
I want him to tell them. I am like the kind of person where I'm like, tell them who you are so they can be like, oh, you're going to be like an important part of our team, and now we can fight crime even harder and really take it to these kaiju. I don't want there to be like, oh, they're after him, but he's actually helping them, but they think he's just like this out of shape middle-aged guy, but they don't know. I don't like that.
Now he's middle-aged. Jesus.
I want them to all be together and happy so they can fight evil. Simple.
Yeah, I mean, he's had good luck with the 2 people he's revealed himself to.
I think the dude nice will understand, actually. He'll be like, yes, this is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because he likes him so much.
I know.
Like, he loves Kafka. He's the first person to recognize that, like, his skills at strategy and like finding weaknesses are insanely valuable. And then also he's like, this guy's funny.
Right.
You know, and he's right. Like they need some humor. They need some lightness. They need Kafka's like Ted Lasso-esque positivity to brighten up what is a shitty job.
Yeah. And also like this guy's clearly, you know, I'm sure he's not the only smart kaiju out there. I'm sure there's a bunch of
humanoid kaiju.
These humanoid kaiju. Yeah. They're gonna need to know about him and like use him in the fight against these kaiju, because I'm sure there'll come a point. It's so far it's felt a lot like One Punch Man, but I'm sure there'll come a point where he's up against more powerful kaiju than him, like humanoid kaijus. So,
yeah.
I don't think he's gonna always be the OP person.
That was the thing I was most disappointed by, though. I was like, when he had this humanoid kaiju down, I'm like, put in the final blow. Yeah. He's going to get up. He is going to get up.
It was so like every horror movie ever when they like put somebody down and they're like, oh, you're good, and then they're like, aha.
Oh my god, that was really frustrating. So
I would also like him to demonstrate other special kaiju powers other than super punch.
Okay.
I mean, it's been done.
Like lightning something.
Yeah, I guess, but
he had shields.
Did he?
They're not like unusual. I get it. They're not like crazy, like wild, imaginative powers.
He's got a.
Yep, I get you.
The other guy was shooting some weird something out of his fingers. I don't know. That's like something.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
mushroom bullets.
Yeah, they're gross.
Yeah. Can we?
It's kind of a gory scene. It's a little intense.
Can we just intense? Wait, what part was intense?
When he was shooting those two like base guys that were basically defenseless, just like it's like
yeah, when Reno was down,
punching big holes in them. That's like violent.
Yeah, he was just kind of like, how much can you take? Like, but I mean, here's like sort of what ran through my mind quickly. Not that Reno deserves this because he is my favorite character.
Sure.
But it's sort of like, is he experimenting on humans the way that humans have experimented on kaiju? Like, they have kaiju suits. Like, they obviously had to like develop that from something. Did they, was there any sort of like nefariousness that we're going to find out about? Like,
I'm sure the kaiju were developed from humans' experiments in the first place.
Maybe.
I mean, totally could be.
I mean, isn't that the origin of kaiju? They just came from the sea, or what?
I mean, this particular show hasn't said anything about.
Like in general, is there like a agreed upon origin story for all kaiju and like?
No, I don't think so.
International understanding.
I don't think so. I mean, it's
not
just
if you watch like the 1990s Godzilla, where they like talk about it's like nuclear testing.
Yeah, but see, that's people are here. We're associating Godzilla with the only kaiju, and so Godzilla creatures and such. Mm-hmm. But there's obviously it just means like big monsters. So they can make up anything they want, and I hope it's not anything too horribly predictable. Like, we did this, and some of them have like a conscience and they're fighting back again. That could be that route, but
I actually think it's been pretty simple and straightforward so far. I bet it's going to get crazy twisted pretty quickly, like stuff you didn't see coming. I won't be shocked.
That's what I'm saying. Like here, like, is this guy is kind of number 9, like, getting his version of payback? Is he like, ooh, let me just like experiment on these people the way that like I think they experimented,
maybe,
on other kaiju and like built these super suits and, did all this wacky stuff. It was just a question that ran through my mind. I was like, is that going to be a plot twist? Because he seems so deliberately cruel about it.
Sure.
Could be just setting up a good villain. We want to have a villain that we.
He didn't strike me though as being that he didn't have this attitude where he was just like, I'm going to get them back for the horrible things they've done. He was just like straight up I don't have a conscience. Like, I just, why would I care about stepping on this ant, basically? Like,
right, but he said he was going to bring them back somewhere. Like, he was going to take them with him. So I was just wondering, like, to where? True. Like, to what end? Like, is there like some lab, or is this food? True. What is this?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, well, anything else we must say about Kaiju number 8? Are just in general, are you happy with what we've gotten so far? Are you excited to continue, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's like really seems like it's really fun to watch. I mean, it's quite. I mean, artistically, it's a very cool animation and art direction, or stylized. I don't know. Just I think it's fun, bright. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's well done. And it's fun to see like superhero teams and teams of soldiers like fighting crime, kaiju monsters, like all this kind of like general stuff. But it's also fun to see like the cleanup crew.
Yeah.
And some of the realities that are like, superhero movies and things bring up and then don't always address, or like half address.
Right.
Like,
it's
kind of a fun like
premise.
Practical. Yeah. It's like a fun premise of like, hey, there's also the cleanup team that we keep checking back in with. Like they're doing important work, and this guy came from there. So don't discount the little guy, or like, the guy without the glamorous job ever. So that's fun.
That's it's true. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched like kind of shonen type of show. And I think that works out in my favor here, because it feels like I haven't been, inundated. It's just like not all I've been consuming. So it feels good to have that again, but it's not the same. It is different enough. It's striking that balance between serious and comedy and lightheartedness well. And so it just does make it an easy to watch, fun kind of show so far. That I don't know where exactly it's going to go. So well, great. I'm glad we have this show we're checking out together, and I don't know. It feels like there is a reasonable amount per episode, but I kind of like this. We get a few episodes under the belt and watched, and then see how it's moved from there. So
it's good. Yeah.
Probably next be back with a on this show to talk Demon Slayer. Again, unfortunately, you guys will probably be gone during that first one. So we can get JP, maybe Mike back.
Those guys haven't been on a while. Tell them to pull their weight.
Yeah, it's been a long while. So we'll try to do that. I do want to give a shout out quickly to Mike at Trackmouse 34, because he did put our sticker on the back of his car. So everybody should go over to Trackmouse 34 and Track_Mouse on
Instagram. Your audio is nuts right now, John.
Is it?
Okay, now you're back.
Oh, I thought it was the sound of his video.
Yeah, I think it like cut into your mic though, because your mic was like in and out.
Oh, interesting.
So you can hear the car now?
No.
Is my audio one crazy?
I can hear you.
No, your audio is normal again.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't think it could share audio through the window here anyway. So, but so if anybody missed me, Track_Mouse on Instagram, Trackmouse34 on YouTube. And summer racing season's coming up, so he's going to be out there, and he'll be repping our podcast logo. So that'd be cool.
Okay.
That's about it. I don't have a wrap up screen for this one, so really just all the like normal things, like, share, subscribe, all that sort of thing. This will go to the podcast directories, just like the regular show. So you can, if you subscribe to us there, and that's how you consume our content, great. Otherwise, on YouTube, this will be on the Ohio Anime YouTube channel, which is it'll come down from our regular podcast. I hope it's not too confusing for people. Like, go to Ohio Anime YouTube, go to Podcast on the Rocks YouTube. That's good places. So and then just follow us at Podcast on the Rocks, see when we go live and all that sort of thing. So otherwise, the two of you, I appreciate you both being here. Andrea, dealing with all the car stuff, but still getting here. And Phil, it's just been quite a while. So yeah, good to have you back.
Yeah, great to be back. Thanks, guys.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.